मैंने सुना था गोवा से बेटर क्राउड आपको यहाँ मिलेगा। इनफैक्ट लास्ट ईयर न्यू ईयर पे जहाँ गोवा का हाई सीजन होता है, मोस्टली क्राउड ने गोवा को डिच किया और यहाँ आ गए। With delicious local meals, great drinks and local wines, cream crowd, great party places and एक से बढ़कर एक cafes. Boys and girls, welcome to the India's one and only beach town Varkala in Kerala. Hi, I am Pragya. Welcome to my channel Khao Local Ghumo Global, where we explore new ways of living through travel, food and local stories. In this video, I'll be sharing everything you need to know about Varkala. Where is Varkala, how to reach, things to do, where to eat, where to stay, how to get around, the weather and the ideal number of days to plan your trip, plus my estimated budget at the end. So stick with me in this video till the end to gather the information as much as possible like always, and now rock and roll. Starting from chapter 1, where is Varkala? If you have ever dreamt of a beach town which feels like Goa but quieter, calmer and kind of wiser, that's Varkala is for you. Varkala is a small coastal town in the Trivandrum district of Kerala, right along the Arabian Sea. Because Varkala hits the sweet spot, budget-friendly stays, cafes with ocean views, yoga studios, hostels and a strong backpacker vibe without the overwhelming tourist chaos. Over the last few years, Varkala has been quite stealing attention from Goa. Many solo travelers and remote workers who used to spend months in North Goa are now moving here, chasing the same freedom but with Varkala's warm cliff, cleaner beaches and way fewer crowds. Chapter 2, how to reach Varkala. Getting to Varkala is actually super easy whether you are traveling by flight, train or road. Everything connects surprisingly well. By air, the nearest airport is Trivandrum International Airport, which is about 45 kilometers away, roughly a 1-hour drive. It is well connected with regular flights from major Indian cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai and Kochi. Once you land, you can take a prepaid taxi, cab or bus straight to Varkala town or Varkala cliff area. By train, Varkala has its own railway station called Sivagiri Station, and that is a big win for budget and solo travelers. It is a part of Trivandrum-Kollam line, so you will find direct trains from Kochi, Trivandrum, Madurai, Chennai and Bangalore. From the station, the cliff and beach are barely 3 kilometers away and local autos are easily available. By road, if you love scenic road drives, the route to Varkala won't disappoint you. It sits right off NH66, which connects all major towns along Kerala's coast. There are plenty of KSRTC and private Volvo buses running daily from cities like Trivandrum, Kochi, Thrissur and even Coimbatore. So whether you are hopping off a flight, catching an overnight train or just road tripping your way down Kerala's coast, Varkala is easy accessible, well connected and worth the journey. Chapter 3, things to do in Varkala. Let's start with the most happening part of Varkala, the North Cliff and South Cliff. If you have been seeing those dreamy shots of cafes overlooking the sea, colorful boutiques and sunset that looks straight out of a postcard, this is where all they came from. The North Cliff is the heart of Varkala. It is basically one long stretch about 1.5 kilometers of cafes, homestays, beachwear shops, yoga studios and souvenir stalls. You can literally spend half of the day here hopping between cafes, reading a book by the cliff or just walking with the sea breeze following you everywhere. The South Cliff on the other hand is a bit quieter, more for travelers who prefer peace over the party vibe. It is perfect if you want to choose stay to the beach but away from the crowd, and it connects beautifully to the Edava and Black Sand Beach if you walk further south. Number 2, Janardana Swami Temple. This is actually one of the main reasons why Varkala became known in its first place. Dedicated to Lord Vishnu, it is believed to be over 2000-year-old temple and locals often called it the Kashi of South because people come here to offer prayer for their ancestors. The temple sits on a small hill just a few minutes walk from Papanasam beach. If you visit in the evening, you will often find priests performing some rituals and devotees lighting oil lamps. Whether you are into spirituality or just curious about local tradition, Janardana Swami Temple adds a beautiful layer to Varkala's identity, reminding you that this beach town is not just about surf and sunset, it is also about centuries of faith quietly living alongside the waves. Number 3. Mangrove kayaking in Paravur Lake. It is one of the most popular experiences around Varkala, but here is the real talk. Because this activity is so hyped, there are also a lot of scams and overpriced operators. Many promise private or exclusive routes but end up taking everyone on the same shared trail, so always double check before you book and avoid paying blindly online. I went with Mangrove Village Adventure Park and the experience was totally worth it. They start with a quick registration form, give you a short safety briefing, and then the actual kayaking begins around 4:30 p.m., lasting for about 2 hours right through the golden sunset. It is completely safe even if you are a non-swimmer. They provide life jacket and guides accompany the group. The best part, it is budget friendly, usually costing between 600 to 900 per person depending on the season. So if you are looking to add something active and unique to your Varkala trip, skip the over-promising tour stalls and go for a verified operator. How you can reach here? Paravur Lake is about 15 kilometers from Varkala, and the best way to reach is by renting a scooter or bike. And it gives you a complete freedom to explore at your own pace. Number 4. Jatayu's Earth Center was honestly the place I was most excited for. But my excitement turned into a bit of a okay showcase situation, purely my personal opinion though. Now if you have never heard of it, this is where Jatayu, the mythical vulture from the Ramayana, is believed to have fallen after trying to rescue Sita from Ravan. The spot is said to mark where Lord Ram later found Jatayu injured, and even today you will find a small temple and a footprint of Lord Ram sculpted in a stone nearby. The main attraction is the world's largest bird sculpture, a massive 200 feet long, 150 feet wide and 70 feet tall structure built on the top of a rocky hill called Jatayupura. It is genuinely stunning, the detailing, the size, the idea behind it, absolutely impressive from a creative and historical point of view. Now talking about the experience, the park is open from 10 am to 5 pm with a lunch break between 1:30 to 2 pm, and it is open all days. There are two main packages for the sculpture visit. Package 1, sculpture entry, rupees 295 plus cable car rupees 315, which is total of rupees 610 per person. Package 2, which includes sculpture visit and walk away, just rupees 354 and only cash accepted. I personally took the cable car, and while it was smooth and scenic, I did feel the pricing was slightly on the higher side for the overall experience. The heat that day was also brutal, so I did not spend more than 30 to 35 minutes at the top. From Varkala, it is roughly about 25 kilometers, about 45 minutes of ride. So the best way to reach is definitely by renting a two-wheeler. The roads are in good condition and it is nicely half-day trip if you start around late morning. Number 5, Munro Island, my favorite spot from the entire trip of Varkala. Now technically it is not in Varkala, it is about 50 kilometers away near Kollam, but trust me, it is one of those experiences that makes your trip truly special. So what exactly is Munro Island? It's a small cluster of 8 islands beautifully formed where the Ashtamudi Lake and Kallada River meets. The island is named after Colonel John Munro, a British resident. He introduced canal system and reforms that shaped this entire backwater region. We rented a scooter from Varkala and rode via Kollam, spending half of the day there before heading to Munro. The ride itself was scenic, lush green, small bridges and glimpse of calm backwater everywhere. Now the main highlight, the village boat ride. This was honestly one of the most peaceful, authentic and affordable backwaters experience I've ever had. We chose the sunset slot, which started at 4:30 pm and lasted for about 2 hours. The maximum capacity per boat is 8 people and the total cost is about 1000 per boat, covering Ashtamudi Lake, narrow clear water canals and a bit of a local village life. We booked our tour directly through the DTPC Information Center, which is District Tourism Promotional Council. This is a government authorized option, so no scams, no overcharging, just simple, genuine hospitality. If you go through private operators, expect to pay almost double or triple for the same experience. So please stick to the DTPC counter. I will leave the contact details in the description box for you. Chapter 4, Where to Eat. Now when it comes to food in Varkala, this place place is literally made for cafe hopping, but there is a thing, if you search best cafes in Varkala, you will see the same 5 to 6 names looping in every single reel. So I decided to mix the famous ones with a few real local finds. Number 1, Sri Vinayaka Restaurant. This one has a 4.5 star rating with over 1200 reviews on Google. Originally I was headed to Cafe Sarva because of the online hype. But after waiting 30 minutes for the smoothie bowl that never came because of the power cut issue, it's a long story. I left hungry and disappointed. Just about in walking distance was Sri Vinayaka, and oh my god, what a rescue. Quick service, flavorful food and super reasonable prices. If you are the kind who just want a hot meal without the wait or frills, this is your spot. Number 2, Cafe Dilmar. Located on the North Cliff, this cafe has 4.1 star and 3.5k reviews and is one of the most popular hangouts in Varkala. I went there with my hostel friends and we kept it simple, chai and pakoras, because the view was the real highlight. Yes, the menu is a bit on the pricier side, but the sea breeze, music and company you honestly don't mind. Number 3, Cafe Inda. A 4.2 star rated cafe with 2.2k reviews and is easily one of my favorites. I went there for breakfast and ordered their Nutella pancakes, which came with fresh fruits and a scoop of ice cream. The best part, any breakfast dish includes a beverage that you can get refilled till 12 pm. Warm, cozy interiors, friendly staff and genuinely great food. Number 4, Darjeeling Cafe. This one sits on the North Cliff too with 3.7 stars and over 6,000 reviews. They are known for their northeastern style dishes, but we played safe with mushroom masala and roti, which were okayish. Nothing bad, nothing amazing, but it is still a chill spot and want a quick bite. Number 5, my bonus local picks for you. If you want to try something truly Kerala-right, go for local sweets like Unniyappam, Pazamada or even the pink banana. Each one thick, sweet and full of flavors. And if you are curious about trying local alcohol, Toddy is the drink for you. You will hear about everywhere, but make sure to try it only from a local recommended shop because some random vendors mix it with additives that ruins its purity. So that is my food journey in Varkala, a mix of cafe culture, local favors and a few unplanned surprises that turned out better than the one I actually planned. Chapter 5, Where to stay in Varkala. Varkala is one of those rare towns that perfectly balance spirituality and chill traveler vibe. You will find everyone here, backpackers, solo travelers, digital nomads, family, friends, group and even long-term slow travelers. If you are someone who enjoys meeting new people or solo traveling, I have one solid recommendation for you, the Hostel Stories. It is just about a 2 minutes walk from the North Cliff, so you are close to all the cafes, beaches and sunset points but still tucked in a calmer corner. The rooms are clean and comfortable, the vibe is super homely and the staff is genuinely warm. My personal favorite part, the kitchen access. You can cook your own meals, which is a huge plus if you are on a long trip or just want a break from eating out. I will leave the contact details in the description box for you. Chapter 6, How to get around. This town is best explored slowly. Walk through its little lanes. Some spots are close enough to cover on foot, but it really depends on where you are staying and how comfortable are you with walking longer distances, especially under the Kerala sun. If you want full freedom and flexibility, the best option is to rent a two-wheeler. It gives you complete control over your time and lets you explore nearby beaches, temples and far spots at your own pace. I will leave the contact details of a reliable rental service in the description box. They don't ask for any deposit, offer fair price and are genuinely helpful. Other ways to get around includes auto rickshaw and car taxi. Chapter 7, What is the best time and ideal duration to visit Varkala? Boys and girls, let's talk about the season first. October to February, this is the high season and best time to visit. March to May gets quite humid and hot, but if you don't mind the heat, you will find fewer crowds and better deals on stays. June to September, Varkala turns lush green and beautiful. But swimming in the sea and surfing is not ideal due to rough tides. For most travelers, 3 to 4 days are ideal to cover the main attractions, enjoy the beaches and soak in the cliff views. But if you're someone who likes to take it slow, maybe join a yoga retreat, surf camp or an art or cooking classes, then you can easily stretch your stay to a week or even longer. Varkala is one of those places where a few extra days never feels like too much. Chapter 8, My estimated budget for Varkala. Super useful for your planning. Here is my rough per day estimate per person. For stay, around 500 to 600 if you are choosing budget hostels. For food, around 300 to 800 rupees depending on whether you eat local thalis or hop around cafe cliffs. For transport, around 500 rupees to 800 rupees if you rent a two-wheeler or use shared autos. For activities and experience, 1500 rupees to 3000 rupees if you include kayaking, Ayurvedic massages, yoga session or surfing classes. So for a 3 to 4 day trip, your total would come to around 5000 to 8000 excluding travel to and from Varkala, covering stays, food, transport and experiences. Of course, if you are into relaxing, exploring slowly or taking wellness session, you can stretch that a bit. But even then, Varkala stays beautifully affordable compared to most coastal towns or destinations in India. And that's a wrap of my Varkala vlog. If you find this video useful at any point, please like and save it for your Kerala trip and subscribe for more travel stories, local finds and real experiences. If you have any questions or suggestions, drop a comment. I would love to reply. And also you can reach out to me on my Instagram and thread handle. It's called Khalogal Ghuma Global. This is me, Pragya Sharma, exploring new ways of living, signing off. You see me in my next release. Till then, travel safely, stay curious and explore the world with care. Bye. Namaste.